This is Ella Howard, and in this short video I'd like to show you a little bit of information about rubrics in the Brightspace LMS. So to manage your rubrics, you can go into the course admin area. So I'm showing you here my Modern American History class. And in here I have several different rubrics that I'm using for different types of assignments. So I have the Humanities rubric, which is the one that was given to us through the Institute for assessing our departmental learning outcomes. And then I have the ones that I've created for the midterm essay, the final essay, and for discussions. So those are the aspects of the class where I plan to be doing grading. And rubrics, of course, make it faster for grading. It can limit the amount of individualized comments you have to write down, or as Brightspace likes to call it, it can streamline your grading. So to take a look at that rubric, I can open it up and show it to you here. This discussion rubric is based on the one that Kiana Skipwith showed me a copy of that they used to use over in SIPSI, and I think they may still use variations on this. So I like this rubric because it has a lot of positive features here. It breaks things down into a lot of detail, which is something that I often struggle with when I'm grading discussions online. So here it has 5 categories of achievement: missing, below expectations, meets expectations, exceeds expectations, or exemplary. And then this is the part where you weight the elements. So I put 30 points for relevance to discussion topic. I see I have a typo here, and so you can see how I edit it by simply clicking on the text. Then I gave 30 points for the originality and completeness of the initial post, whatever that is. 30 points for the responses that are given to others. So if they're really solid and they did 2, or if they only did 1, those of you who've graded discussions know that often the work just isn't there. So that's an easy one to mark. And then 10 points for grammar and style. So these are proportionally weighted. And this one you'll notice only has 3 columns, and that's something that I noticed early on when I started using analytic points-based rubrics, was that, you know, things like meets the length requirement isn't really exemplary. It's just meeting the expectations. So you don't really have to give them as wide a range for the various types of criteria. So this is defined, this type of rubric, if you choose to go this way, this is defined in Brightspace as an analytic rubric with scoring using custom points. So when I was setting this up, that's something I struggled with a bit because your options are holistic versus analytic, custom points, points, or no score. So we can also go back. I'm happy to show you the rubrics that I'm using for my other assignments. So for the final essay, for instance, I have a similar type of setup. Here I use my more traditional 4-column structure: not present, developing, meets expectations, or exemplary. And so for essays, I like to give a lot of emphasis on the thesis statement itself to encourage students to put some effort into developing a clear and cohesive thesis and argument. So I have 20 points for the thesis statement, 10 for the development of the argument, 10 for the length requirement. And I see I have an error there that I'll have to correct. Then I have 25 points for using the primary sources as assigned, 15 points for engaging with the secondary source, because that's a primary goal in history classes at the undergraduate level, even at the graduate level really, is for students to learn how to combine their analysis using primary and secondary source materials. 10 points for the references, 5 for your writing style in terms of having sentences that are complete and not fragments or run-ons, and then 5 for general grammar and style. So obviously there's a lot of variations for how you might want to set this up, but that's the technical kind of overview. The key here also is make sure your points total to 100 before you get too far in this process. So in another video, I'll show you how to attach a rubric to an assignment or a discussion.